Hello guys, welcome back again to my channel, a channel that gives you insights about the problem giving you headache at school. Today's question is from the University of Boya ECN203 continuous assessment, and we'll be handling the first question in the continuous assessment that talks about the demand and supply of quantities of tomatoes in Munya market. So guys, stay with me as I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step process of identifying the demand function, the supply function, the equilibrium price, and sketching a graph to represent the quantity demanded and quantity supplied at that equilibrium price. So stay with me as I dive into the question proper. So the question today says that if the quantity demanded and the quantity supplied of tomato in Munya market are given as follows: 3p plus 2a and 120 minus 2p, where p is the price of tomato. Identify QD, the demand function, QS, the supply function. C, find the equilibrium price and quantity that clear the market. Give a graphical representation of your answer in C above. So guys, the first thing to do in order for us to be able to answer, to identify the demand function and the supply function, in this case we need to know how price affects demand and the supply. So we know already from basic knowledge of economics that, or from the day-to-day practice that we have in our day lives, that when a price increase, the quantity demanded decrease, and when price increase, more suppliers will want to produce more goods in order to make more profit. So in this case, for us to indicate a decrease in demand, we will use a negative sign, and for us to indicate an increase in supply, we will use a positive sign. So at any time that we see a demand and supply function, we look out for the negative and the positive signs. So again, for price to increase, the quantity demanded must decrease. Therefore, for us to indicate the decrement in the quantity demanded, we use a negative sign, and for us to indicate the increase in the quantity supplied, we use a positive sign. Therefore, the A part, which says that we should identify the demand function. The demand function will simply be the equation with the negative sign, and the supply function will be the equation with the positive sign. So the supply function will be nothing but 3p plus 220, which is, we call it the supply function, and the demand function will be 120 minus 2p. The B part says that the C part, says that we should find the equilibrium price and quantity that clear the market. So for us to know the equilibrium price and quantity, we need to know what equilibrium actually is. Equilibrium simply means a situation where the quantity demanded equates the quantity supply. So if the quantity demanded is equal to the quantity supply, then we mean that the quantity demanded function and the quantity supply function are equal. So in this case, we will have 120 minus 2p, which is the demand function, is equals to 3p plus 20, which is the supply function. So what do? We simply bring like terms together. So we'll take minus 2p to the other side of the equation to meet 3p, and if it's going to the other side of the equation, its sign changes from negative here to positive. And we'll also take 20 to come and meet 120 to the other side. If it's also crossing the equal sign, its sign changes from positive to negative. So we'll rearrange this equation by bringing like terms together to give us 120 minus 20 equals to 3p plus 2p. Minus 2p goes to the other side, becomes positive. 20 comes to the left hand side, it becomes negative. So 120 minus 20 will be equals to 3p plus 2p, and 120 minus 20 is 100, and 3p plus 2p is 5p. Then we are looking for the price p, so we divide both sides by 5. So we divide the left hand side by 5, we divide the right hand side by 5. So 5 will go into itself one time, and 5 will go into 100 20 times. 5 will go into itself one time, and 5 into itself one time. Therefore, the equilibrium price, which we denote as P, will be equals to 20 francs CFA. The next part of the question is that what? And the quantity that cleared the market, the equilibrium quantity. So if we take this 20 francs CFA and substitute into the quantity demanded function, we'll get the equilibrium quantity. If we also take it and substitute in the quantity supply function, we will still have the same amount, because at the equilibrium price we have said the quantity demand must be equal to the quantity supplied. So you take the 20, which is equilibrium price, and substitute into any of the functions. So in this case we are going to substitute into the quantity demanded function, and the quantity demanded function is 120 minus 2p. So instead of p we should put 20. So we have 120 minus 2 into 20, and if we multiply 2 times 20 we are going to have 40. So 120 minus 40 is nothing but 80, and 80 is what we call the equilibrium quantity Q, and the quantity are 80 units. Okay, now we need to sketch a graph between the quantity demanded, the equilibrium price, and the equilibrium quantity, right, and their prices. So we know that what to sketch a graph of quantity demanded, quantity supplied, and the price is always on the y-axis. So let's draw the xy axis there. If we draw the y-axis, we call it what? The price. If we draw the x-axis, we call it the quantity demanded or quantity supplied. So we'll put the quantity demanded or supplied there. We already know that what? The demand function always flows from left to right. So we'll draw our demand function there from left to right, and we call it what? The QD, which is what? The demand function, which is 120 minus 2p. And we'll draw our supply function there, which is always from right to left, and we'll call it what? The supply function, which is 3p plus 20, sorry. And then we know that what? After this, at the point where the demand and the supply functions meet, is what we call the equilibrium. And at that equilibrium we have a price that we have calculated to be 20 francs CFA. So we have 20 there, and the quantity demanded at that price and the quantity supplied at that price are equal, and they correspond to 80 units. So that's how we handle questions like this. Just basic economic knowledge combined with your mathematical reasoning gives you the right flow of what you need. So guys, watch out for the next video, which is the second question on the CE of ECN203 from University of Boya. Stay with me and remain blessed. Bye bye.